The Cheeseboy 628 Show, starring Cheeseboy 628.
Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is Cheeseboy628 here today, giving you an OU tier Wi-Fi battle. Now you know my team here. I will have a new team next week, I promise. But as of now, you know I have that specially defensive Vivi like Dusclops, Banded, Talonflame, Scarf Garchomp, Mega Mawile, physically defensive Tentacruel, and Dragon Dance Lapras. Now, looking at my opponent's team, I see they have a Gardevoir and an Aerodactyl, and you can see here that he has a Mega Aerodactyl, but I don't know that going into the battle. He could be a Sashed Aerodactyl with a Mega Gardevoir, or it could be a Scarf Gardevoir with a Mega Aerodactyl. You never really know. But nonetheless, neither of us have a really big advantage here. I can't use Garchomp to just sweep his team with Outrage because he does have two fairies, but doesn't really have one poke to take me out either, as I do have some nice counters. But let's see how this battle goes. So I'm going to start with my Garchomp, try to get some nice damage on something, and if that something is weak to Dragon Claw or Outrage and goes into a fairy, I do have the Iron Head. But nonetheless, he brings in his Rotom Heat, and I have no idea what kind of set it is yet, and so if it's physically defensive, it could go for a Willow and eat up anything I have, and then I'll just be severely crippled for the rest of the game. But he decides to switch right into Meganium as I bring in my Dusclops, and Meganium cannot touch Dusclops, so I'm thinking I can just go for a Willow to get some nice residual damage on something, although it does tend to carry Aromatherapy. But he does bring in his Gardevoir, and I'm not really sure what kind of set it is. Like I said in the team preview, it could be Mega at this point. He actually goes for the Moonblast, still do a decent amount, but I am especially defensive. So here, instead of going for Curse or the Shadow Sneak, I'm going to go for Pain Split because I want to stall this thing out a little bit, because I know that Curse will get a bit of damage and then the Shadow Sneak should bring it pretty low. But I'm thinking with the Pain Split technique, I'll be at a decent amount of health, and then after this one more Moonblast, I should be able to bring it pretty darn low, and then it should die from there, because Gardevoir is a decent threat, especially if it's Scarf, but in this case it is not. Anyway, after a couple of these stally turns, finally, after the burn takes out a lot of damage from both of us, I'm able to go for the Shadow Sneak here, hopefully take out Gardevoir from this range, and thankfully I am. Shadow Sneak has saved me after a couple battles with Dusclops as opposed to Nightshade, because being level 50, Nightshade is definitely not as useful as at level 100. Nonetheless, this Aerodactyl comes in now. It's gotta be Mega, it's his only other poke that could Mega Evolve, and I'm going to go for the Willow instead of the Shadow Sneak, because I'm thinking at this point he's probably not the Sashed variant, and so maybe if I could get a Willow off if he tries to set up with Hone Claws, that would be nice, but that's not the case obviously. I'm going to bring in Garchomp now, and of course, his Aerodactyl does work for him. Mine just can't do anything. I go for the Iron Head, he lives pretty nicely, and then goes for the Ice Fang and just takes out my Garchomp. Gosh dang, I know nothing about Mega Aerodactyl. Nonetheless, from this range, thankfully I am able to go for the Brave Bird with my Talonflame and take him out, because otherwise this thing could be rather threatening because I have nothing else to really outspeed. And so now, he brings in his Rotom Heat, still don't know what kind it is yet. I'm just going to go into my Tentacruel, basically just sacking it. Tentacruel has no purpose in this game, and Tentacruel just really hasn't been doing too much for me as opposed to using Starmie. Starmie does some decent work, and I see he has a Life Orb. Now I really like this set. I think that Life Orb on Rotom should be used much more because it really doesn't have much HP in the first place, so taking Life Orb damage really isn't that harmful. Nonetheless, he switches out to his Meganium for whatever reason, and I just go for the Scald, and the Meganium of course takes it really nicely. Now I'm going to bring in the Talonflame on whatever this Meganium's going to go for. I'm thinking it's special first off, so I thought it would go for like the Giga Drain, but it goes for a Return. So now I know it's physically based, and I'm just going to press Brave Bird here, get a nice bit of damage on anything, especially that Rotom Heat now that I know it's offensive. And it's still not enough though for me to feel safe staying in. I have to sack my Tentacruel here. It'll be some nice Life Orb recoil for him, and then after a couple more hits or just from other pokes, I should be able to take out this Rotom Heat. So now I'm going to go into my Mawile, because I'm thinking at this point Rotom Heat doesn't have Willow, and so I'm just going to straight up Mega Evolve here, go for the Sucker Punch. If he somehow carries Willow here, really sucks, but thankfully that is not the case, or at least he decides to go for the offensive move here, and I go for the Sucker Punch, take him out easy. So now it brings in the Noivern. He probably has Spec Flamethrower coming my way, but I'm going to hope to get as much damage as possible with the Sucker Punch, then come with Talonflame and easily revenge with the Brave Bird. But this Flamethrower does nothing. And I'm not really sure why. Is it possible that this Noivern is scarfed? I guess so, but nonetheless, I bring in my Talonflame on this incoming flamethrower, knowing I can take one easily, and I go for the Brave Bird. Now the reason I bring in my Talonflame is because he still has that Azumarill, and I don't want that Azumarill setting up on me or even outspeeding my Mawile, so I have a decent chance here against this Azumarill, because of course my priority is going to outspeed his, and plus since I'm banded, it does a ton of damage, and so much that I'm going to die from my own recoil, and he's going to be left in the little bit of red. And now I can go into my Lapras and safely go for a body slam as he goes for the Aqua Jet, possibly not knowing that Lapras has water absorb. But now here I can go for the body slam, take him out, and he brings in his Meganium. And I do know it's physical, but I don't really know its move pool on the physical side, but nonetheless I'm going to go for the Dragon Dance here, and he's actually going to go for the Swords Dance. Now I'm pretty confident that I already outspeed, but I do go for the Ice Shard here because it's my hardest hitting move against him. And it was a crit here, which is pretty darn nice because Meganium's notably bulky. And then he goes for the Petal Blizzard and easily takes me out. So now I still have my Mawile, and I'm really hoping this Meganium doesn't pull any shenanigans with me for like using Synthesis or something. And I'm just going to go for the Sucker Punch. Thankfully he does attack, and I'm able to take him out, and that will be a good game. So thank you all for watching. New Wi-Fi team next week, and see you guys next time. Like, comment, sub, and until later, peace.